Hello and welcome to a podcast about something. I've got Jonathan Inbody with me from the X Meets Y podcast today, and today we're talking about Franken-Movies. What that is we're taking a couple movies and we're mixing them together. It's kind of a spin on Jonathan's franchise of the X Meets Y. Jonathan, you want to tell our listeners a little bit about your podcast and what you do?
Yes, absolutely. And franchise is a good word. I'm going to start using that because that makes it sound professional.
Exactly.
And not like it's just something I do with my friends on a recorder.
It was more like I couldn't think of a better word. So you now have a franchise.
I like it. I'm going to start calling it a franchise now. But so basically each episode of X Meets Y, I and a rotating cast of guest co-hosts randomly select two movie titles, and then we have about half an hour to come up with a brand new original movie idea that could be described as movie X meets movie Y. So for instance, like one of our episodes that we just did recently is Die Hard meets Clash of the Titans, and that one was nuts and probably my favorite episode that I've ever recorded for this show.
Wow, Die Hard and Clash of the Titans, that sounds super interesting. I haven't listened to that one yet, but that'll probably be on my playlist for tomorrow.
Yeah, let me know if you like it, because it is, I would consider it one of my favorite episodes that we've ever done. It's crazy. It starts out crazy and just gets crazier. It's great.
Is it the original Clash of the Titans or the latest one?
Oh, has to be the original. I basically all we took from the remake of Clash of the Titans is exactly one line from the trailer.
The Liam Neeson line?
Well, no, it's actually a line that's earlier in the trailer where a guy's like, somebody's got to draw a line. Someday someone's going to have to say enough.
There we go.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I could see how that would
movie
fit.
has some surprisingly good lines, actually, the remake, despite not being a good movie.
Yeah, no, it was not good. And then they somehow spawned a sequel from it, and I'm not sure how that came about. Weirdly,
that one was better. The sequel was okay.
I don't know that I watched it because I was so out on the first remake. It just was not good. It didn't grab my interest, so I don't think I ever went back for Wrath of the Titans.
Yeah, you don't really have to. It was one of those ones that I think I just either caught it on cable or it was just on like Netflix or Amazon Prime, and I was like, I guess I'll watch this.
Yeah, worth 2 hours of not doing anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like we said at the top, we're doing a spin on Jonathan's formula. We actually took 5 genres: crime, monster, sci-fi, fantasy, historical, and horror. And what we're doing is we're going to go through each genre. We each picked our top 2 movies from each genre, and we're going to randomize the 4 movies we picked in the genre. And 2 will be spit out, and we're going to just do a quick fire, rapid fire round and see if we can make a better movie than the original 4 movies.
Yeah, and what we're aiming for is just basic premise and title for these new things, because like my show goes like half an hour-ish for each of these episodes, and we're not going to do that long because that would make a very long episode.
Yeah, so we'd be here for 4 hours.
We'll try and keep it to a couple of minutes per genre.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Let's get started. First genre is the crime genre. My 2 movies were Training Day and Inside Man.
And mine are The Maltese Falcon and The Warriors.
So you pronounce it Falcon instead of Falcon?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So I always pronounce it Falcon unless it's The Maltese Falcon. That's the only one.
Sure.
It just seems like that's ingrained in your brain that it has to be mispronounced.
Yeah, I feel you.
Alright, so let's randomize them.
Yes, okay. I'm whipping up the randomizer app right now. Oh boy, okay. Our set is Training Day and The Warriors.
Those will fit good together, I think.
I very much think so. That is a perfect set.
Yeah. So I haven't seen The Warriors, but I.
Oh, you should. It's the best.
I know. I was reading the plot summary the other day just to prepare a little bit because I didn't have time to watch 10 movies.
Oh yeah, no problem.
But it looked very interesting.
Oh, it's great. It's a crazy little movie about a gang called the Warriors from Coney Island. It was made in the 70s. It's about this gang that is trying to get back to Coney Island after they go to a meeting of all the gangs in New York City where the biggest gang is trying to say, if we all work together, we can own this city. And that leader is then killed, and the Warriors are framed for it. So we just follow them as they're trying to get back to their home. And it's really harrowing. It's great action. It's very funny in a dry sort of way. It's really bizarre and comic booky, but it's an absolutely wonderful movie.
Yeah, and yeah, it's definitely getting added to my list, and I will watch it as soon as possible because it sounded awesome. And
Oh, it is a
I've
masterpiece.
always seen these other pop culture references to it, and usually that's enough for me to go watch a movie, but it just never hit my
Yeah,
list
no,
for
I
some reason.
completely understand. Oh, well,
Uh,
that's like Training Day. I haven't watched in a long time.
I just watched this like a month ago, so
Oh, nice.
I'm really up. That's that was part of why I wanted to pick it for one of my two because it's fresh in my brain.
Mm,
So I'm thinking like so for Training Day, obviously we have the Denzel Washington, Ethan Hawke characters, and
mm.
maybe they're the ones that set the Warriors up for the murder,
Oh, that would be interesting. Yeah.
and and they're also the ones chasing them down, trying to stop the Warriors from Ethan Hawke starts his first day as he did in Training Day, and
Mm.
Denzel's basically dragging him around trying to stop the Warriors from getting to where they're going to let them know they set them up.
Sure. Yeah, I dig it. What if even what if they like instead of just being is it what homicide or drugs? Which one of the
They're in Vice, I think.
advice?
Or,
Okay,
yeah.
yes. So what if instead of that maybe they're part of a unit that is infiltrating gangs?
Okay. Yep.
So that they have like a full reason to have framed the Warriors. Like they're trying to get rid of one of these gangs. Like they're trying to clear out the streets. They're trying to cause chaos because all these gangs are going to come together.
Yeah, that could definitely work. I like
Cool.
that. And they're chasing them around trying to make sure that they don't get caught for their frame job, or basically Denzel's pushing Ethan, because that's kind of what Training Day is he's pushing Ethan Hawke to basically cover his tracks for him as he stole this money and
Sure.
committed all these crimes. So he's pushing Ethan Hawke to cover up the murder, but Ethan Hawke doesn't realize he's covering up the murder.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. Okay, so that's basic premise then. Let's try and come up with a title quick.
Title.
Oh man. Okay, so what
Gangs
are some
of New
words?
York is already taken.
Yeah, no,
That would
right?
be a
I
good
was
one.
just thinking that too. So yeah, I guess what are some words that would apply to like cops and gangs the same way? Are there any words that relate the two?
What is there's like a kind of like Vice is the drug unit in a
Mm.
police precinct. I think there's a word for gang crime, like gang specific crimes.
Oh, I bet there is. I'm trying to think because that probably wouldn't be major crimes. I'm trying to think. Oh, actually, I just thought of a great word for it. Gangbusters. Because that's an
Gangbusters.
expression.
That could work.
That's like the perfect little title for this.
The only problem with it would be it might be a little cheesy. That sounds like a Rock Kevin Hart movie more than a gritty crime film.
See, I think it's all about the way it's handled because like the Warriors, like the title is very uncheesy, but the movie is in a lot of ways very cheesy. Like there's a gang themed after baseball. They wear Kiss makeup in
Nice.
baseball uniforms and beat people up with baseball bats. It's the best. So I think it really depends on
You just have to
the
sell
way
it
that
the
this
right
movie
way.
would be executed.
So Gangbusters.
I like that. I think it works because it's evocative of the right kind of feel, you know?
I gotcha. Yeah, and I mean, we don't have a whole lot of time here, and that's
Yeah.
probably the
I
best
think
we're going to come up with in the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think a good method for all of these is probably just to land on like the first title that catches, you know?
Yeah, they'll be
And
working
just go with
titles,
that.
and then when Hollywood calls us to actually set it up, we can get a better title at that point.
Yes, exactly. In the outlining stage, we can change the title.
Right. That'll be for the studio can put their hands in that. Figure that out for us.
They can do whatever they want with it.
All right, so for the crime movie, we've got Denzel setting up the Warriors for a murder and then using Ethan Hawke to cover his tracks in Gangbusters.
Oh, I dig it.
All right. So let's move on to the monster movies.
Sure, okay.
For this, I chose 1998 Godzilla and Jaws.
And I chose Destroy All Monsters from the original Godzilla series and The
Yep.
Thing.
All right.
So I'm putting them in the randomizer, and we've got Jaws and The Thing.
Oh, that'll be good.
Oh yeah, those go well together very well.
Oh, that could be tough. I'd almost want to just put the plot of The Thing on a boat with a shark chasing them.
That's the thing. Like, what I'm curious about is because, like, they're both creature features. Like, again, this whole little subgenre that we've chosen to do, they're all creature features. They're all monster driven. So, like, I think an interesting way would be to bring, like, the shark and the thing kind of together and make it that, like some kind of a sea creature that can either change its shape like the thing or, like, just in general, like, blend those two monsters and have it be that the people are trapped on a boat and this thing is hunting them.
Oh, I like that. Because then you could have,
I feel like that's pretty flexible.
It starts out as like a barracuda and it just, like, you know, nibbles somebody's shin, and then by the end of it, it's morphed into it keeps changing sea creatures, so it goes to a giant squid and a shark and, you know, every different kind of... Sure. I like that.
And then by the end, it's like a creepy fish person, and, oh, it'd be great.
Yeah. We gotta have the, at least the three guys on the boat from Jaws. I think they all gotta be there, because you gotta have that storytelling montage.
Oh, definitely.
You throw in Kurt Russell.
Oh, yes. Oh, I mean, that's a great cast right there.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. Yeah, the premise for that one came quick.
Yeah, that was an easy one, because you just want to put it all together. It's, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. They go together perfectly.
If we'd have gotten Godzilla and Destroy All Monsters, that would have been more difficult. Really, the only thing I like about 98 Godzilla is the shape of 98 Godzilla. They made him, like, really muscular.
Yeah,
like
he's kind of like a
professional
beefy
wrestler.
Iguana in that one. Yeah.
So, that was really the only part of that I wanted to take out.
Yeah, I feel you.
So,
all right, so let's come up with a title for our Jaws Meets the Thing here.
Jaws Meets the Thing.
Oh, boy. This is going to be a tough one. So, definitely words that are aquatic. Are there any words that indicate change, like the ability to change, but are still aquatic sounding?
That's a good question.
My
first thought was, it came from beneath the sea.
I mean, that's a good title.
Or it came from beneath the waves, but I think I like beneath the sea better.
I think It Came From Beneath the Sea is an actual movie already. I think that's a Harryhausen movie with a stop motion octopus, if I remember right.
That must be why it was such a good name.
Yeah, that's what I was because as soon as you said it, I was like, that's a great title. And then I was like, wait, that sounds real familiar.
Yeah, that's a real one. Damn. All the good ones are taken already.
Well, and you can definitely, like, steal that structure of a name.
Yeah.
You know? Like, we could say, like, it came from underneath or something similar, you know? Actually, underneath, just in general, might not be a bad title.
That's good.
That
gives you, like, that looming terror, almost.
Yeah, definitely. I like underneath. I'm prepared to lock that one in.
Yeah, I'm good with that, because I'm looking up synonyms for metamorphosis right now, and they are not good. Transmutation, transfiguration, changeover. Yeah, those don't. Yeah. Those don't strike fear. Underneath strikes fear because, like,
underneath is ominous.
You don't know what you're looking for. What's underneath? It's much better than the Meg.
Yeah. Oh God, yes. Anything is better than the Meg.
Which I'll probably still see it, but.
Oh, I definitely still want to see it because I mean I love giant monster movies. Like I'm gonna see it eventually, but.
Monster movies are growing on me. It was, I hadn't always enjoyed them, but now lately I've been finding they're more interesting.
I grew up watching monster movies, so it's always been just a thing. And to a certain extent depending on the types of movies, there are some movies that I have trouble getting into if they don't have something monstery or something more genre, you know? Mm-hmm. Like I'm very big on B-movie, like B-movie cinema as being the thing that I spend a lot of my time watching.
Right. That's kind of what got me back into it, is I went back and watched, like, the 60s versions of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, those are great.
Yeah, and they're not big monster movies, but it's kind of the same structure after the first one. And so I was just like, all right, and I started watching more and more, and it's like, yeah, these are pretty cool. It's cool to see definitely. A big monster destroy things.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Oh, we should have done King Kong and Planet of the Apes. That would have been a great pair. Nuts. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll steal that for my show.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Are we ready for the next one?
Absolutely.
Sci-fi fantasy. Yours look both fantasy and mine are both sci-fi. So I had...
Yeah, it's funny how that worked out.
Yeah. I had District 9 and Coherence.
And I had Lord of the Rings and the Dark Crystal. So I'm going to go into the randomizer app, select R2. All right, we got District 9 and Dark Crystal.
Dark Crystal's another one I haven't seen.
Oh,
so you'll have to give me a plot synopsis real quick.
Yeah, so Dark Crystal is a Jim Henson movie, who's the guy who did The Muppets and Sesame Street. Every single character in Dark Crystal is a puppet, and it is absolutely incredible. It is such a towering, like, masterwork of puppetry. It's really beautiful story. There's these two, basically there's the last of their kind, a man and a woman of a race called the Gelflings, and they are sent by this group of beings called the Mystics. And the Mystics and the Skeksis, which are like kind of bird people, are two halves of one race that split themselves into two using the Dark Crystal to try and like learn about reality and learn about themselves, and split themselves into a good race and the Mystics and a bad race and the Skeksis. And the Gelflings are going to restore the Dark Crystal because there was a piece broken off of it, and fuse the two races back together.
All right.
It's super
That's interesting.
cool. You got to check it out. It's fantastic.
So I'm thinking we take that and we drop it into the prison camp of District 9, basically. Like, instead of having the aliens, you have these feuding factions who are living amongst each other in this ghetto that was created by, I guess, humans.
Mm.
And then you keep kind of the found footage of a reporter going in and investigating what's going on in there from District 9.
That sounds very cool.
What's our what are they trying to accomplish, I guess?
Well, so yeah, that's I guess what we should specify is, so for our Dark Crystal 2 factions being put into the world of District 9, should we have it be that, like in District 9, aliens arrive to Earth, and then unlike in District 9, but like in Dark Crystal, the aliens, through some kind of technology or some other thing, because of atmosphere or whatever, sci-fi reasons, split into two, where there's one like really aggressive race and one really passive race. And then you could have it be that they've all just been kind of rounded up because the dangerous ones are so very dangerous, but the passive ones have also been thrown in because they're quote unquote the same aliens.
Yeah, so they came and they came and everybody was like, all right, cool, there's aliens here, and everybody's getting along, and then they split for, like you said, sci-fi reasons. And then humankind realizes that some of these guys are bad and just starts rounding them up.
Sure, yeah.
Just rounding up everybody because humans can't tell the difference.
Sure.
But then your Gelflings need to come and restore the peace.
Yes, definitely.
That would be the raison d'etre of the movie, is somebody's got to help bring everything back together so they stop getting put in these internment camps, basically.
I like that a lot because it maintains the social awareness that District 9 has as well. It carries it over in a really nice way.
Yeah, and it may even go a little further on it than District 9 did.
Yeah, definitely. Or at least in a different direction than District 9 did, because District 9 is very much about South Africa.
Right, yeah.
Whereas this one seems much more about America.
Yeah. And America or, Holocaust Germany, anything like that, you can make the parallels between.
Yes, certainly.
All right, so we need a title.
Yes. Ooh, that's going to be tough. We have to have something that implies duality and also implies, prison camp imagery. It has to blend those two worlds together, and that's going to be very hard to find. Yeah, I'm trying to think of expressions that relate to things like, I don't know, two of a kind or something like that. I feel like there's something we can do with that. We just have to then take it to a place of that, prison imagery.
Right. It's a tough one.
Yeah, this one got surprisingly tough. Which is weird, because the premise for this one came together very quickly, too. Let's see. Two of a Kind, Dark Half. I'm just trying to think of other movies that are
about
reality.
For the prison side of it, I think something Lock Up or Lock 'em Up, something like that. But like you said, we need something to convey that it's not just bad people getting captured.
Yeah.
Or bad aliens,
even like
I guess.
even if we took like the term like solitary confinement, but then like instead of solitary had a word that implies two, like something like that, you know? Like there's some expression that links together these two worlds of like a sense of duality and prison, like, you know, and we just gotta kind of dig into that and find that space.
Right. We're getting there.
Yeah, it's definitely like that's the thing with the titles, especially. One thing I've said in so many episodes of X Meets Y is titles are hard. Like they always are. Sometimes they come really easy, but when they don't, it's brutal. It takes so long sometimes to come up with a title.
Oh, what about this? Liberty and Justice.
Ooh, I like that a lot. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm very comfortable with locking that in. That sounds great.
Thank you, vocabulary.com.
Yes, absolutely. That's fantastic.
We're open to sponsors if you want to help out vocabulary.com. I'm sure you're listening.
Please. Sponsor X Meets Y, please. We'll use you every time we try to do a title.
That was good. Liberty and Justice. Mm-hmm. So Liberty and Justice,
the
tale of I forgot the names of the aliens.
So it's tough because there's a lot of like it's all a fantasy world, you know. But the Gelflings are the two like last of their kind ones, and then the Skeksis are the bad ones, and the Mystics are the good ones.
Okay, Liberty and Justice, the tale of the Skeksis and the Mystics forming a bond that they didn't want to. Taglines are hard too.
Yeah. Yeah, heaven forbid we try to think of like taglines and like stuff to put on posters for these. Because at that point, like that's just like taglines maybe a little, but oh boy, is that a different skill set than we're working right now.
Yeah, I just tried on the fly and it did not work well.
No, taglines are so tough because if you try to improvise taglines, they're always bad. Like there's no good way to do it.
No. All right, so on that note, with the bad tagline, we're going to take a break, hear a promo from another podcast that I listen to, and that you guys out in the world should also listen to, and then we'll be right back with our historical and horror movie ideas.
What do you think of when I say the following phrases? Goes to camp, saves Christmas, rides again, scared stupid. No, it's not you selfish prick. It's the lovable and accident-prone man-child that is Ernest P. Worrell. This is the Importance of Seeing Ernest podcast, the comprehensive and encyclopedic compendium of all things Ernest, actor Jim Varney's greatest creation. Tune in every month as three friends, and occasionally a guest or two, navigate the silly, playful, and family-friendly waters of Ernest in a not-so-family-friendly way. We have a hell of a time reliving these childhood memories, and we invite you to join us in Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app of choice. Know what I mean?
And we're back. All right, be sure to check those guys out, and let's move on. Next is historical movies.
Yes, very excited for this one.
I had The Patriot and 300.
And I had The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and Seven Samurai.
So The Good, Bad, and the Ugly is another one that I've never seen, and I didn't realize that happened during Civil War times.
It is an absolute masterpiece.
Yeah. So that might be another one I gotta check out.
Yeah, that is literally my favorite movie of all time. So you should check it out. It's amazing. I truly love it.
Let's hope it gets picked in the randomizer.
It's got a 25% shot, so let's hope. And then Seven Samurai is also a great movie. 'Cause that's like as much of a classic as The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is, just from the East instead of the West, you know?
Right. Yep.
All right, so go into the randomizer here. Oh, yay! Okay, we got The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and 300.
Oh, I was hoping that would be our pairing.
Oh, that's a great pairing. Yeah, I'm excited.
I was sitting here waiting for the randomizer to spit two out. I really wanted 300 and Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah, that's a solid combination right there. Yeah, I guess we should figure out the format of which movie are we taking and which, like story and setting are we taking. Because they're both interesting stories and they're both delivered in very different ways.
Do we want the stylized Zack Snyder view on it?
I feel like we should do a stylized Zack Snyder view of a story that's set in the West, or somewhere
Yes.
around that kind of
Yeah.
area. That might be really interesting.
No, yeah, I like that. That's what I was going to say. A Zack Snyder in Civil War times, basically.
Oh, sure. That'd be great. Oh, what if we do something that's similar to 300 where it's like them fighting a losing battle, but it's Valiant. Like, I don't want to do the Alamo because the Alamo's been focused on a lot already in a bunch of different movies. What if we do something like the Spanish-American War, like Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders, something like that? Because there were some battles that were, effectively like them fighting their way up a hill, their horses being killed out from under them, like just incredibly cinematic stuff that there has never been a movie made about.
Yeah, no, that's good. So it's basically the story of 300, but in a more modern time, in a more modern, not modern by any means, but told in a more telling a more modern battle, basically. But it's still against all odds. Probably not coming out on top, but doing what you need to survive. They didn't survive in 300, but
well, in this one they kind of have to.
Keep the enemy.
Roosevelt has to be a president still.
Right.
But yeah, I like that.
I like that. In the Zack Snyder style, which that's going to be a little rough with like long range firearms.
I feel like it can be done because Zack Snyder likes to do that ramping technique where it like moves back and forth between slow motion and fast motion. So I feel like if they keep the battle to regular motion until somebody fires and then have the slow motion of the bullet like going in and doing the damage, because bullets and cannons and all that kind of stuff were much more destructive back then. So I feel like that's a good way to like kind of balance out those two very different feeling aesthetics,
Yeah, and then you can kind of have the hand-to-hand on horseback as the battle ramps up. Like, you're starting out in your nice lines, 500 yards away from each other, but eventually your cavalries meet in the middle at some point. So you could kind of do the Zack Snyder glory shot of, when you just got two guys going at each other in the middle of a battlefield, but on horseback. That'd be
bayonets
cool.
and having cavalry swords.
Right.
Oh, that'd be great.
Tomahawks, things like that.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
Whatever they can get their hands on.
Man, I want to watch this movie now.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's
Hollywood,
our premise.
Call us. We'll finish it for you. So now we need a name.
Yes. Ooh, that's going to be a tough one. So we need something that implies the like mythicness of 300. It's tough because The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is also a very like mythical name, and the movie goes a long way to like setting up those three characters, are the three people we follow, as like very totemic, emblematic characters, where they're kind of ironic reflections on what it means to be like a good guy of a Western, a bad guy of a Western, and a bandito,
Right.
So I feel like the mythicness is definitely something we should keep, and then we should just have it be mythic and Western as the feelings that we're trying to evoke,
So we were talking about, specifically Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders. What about just rough?
I like rough. Rough is good. We might need a little more mythic in there. We need to stir in a little more mythic.
Well, I'm thinking you bring in the mythic with the poster. You just got Roosevelt standing there with his sword.
Sure.
But let me see. Yeah, that's because rough could be anything.
That's true. Yeah. No, the more I'm thinking about it, I like rough. I'm prepared to lock in rough as our title. I like that one.
You got 30 seconds to think of something different.
Then we'll just go with rough.
Or better. Yeah. All right, so Rough is the story of Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders, as told by Zack Snyder, and the Spanish-American War.
That is awesome.
I like that.
That is badass.
We even got a director for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Get Zack Snyder away from the Justice League movies. Let's let him do something else.
I think he kind of is away from the Justice League movies now.
Well, yeah. He is. And the circumstance of it are terrible, but for the movies, it's probably better.
Yeah, I'm kind of concerned with with the Shazam trailer and the Aquaman trailer that just came out. I was like, oh, okay, it looks like the DC universe is like getting itself together. Like they're kind of figuring out what they are now, which is nice after like 3 movies.
Yeah, so Aquaman, I was like, all right, I'll go see that. Shazam, I was just like, I, I know the story behind Shazam, so I
Sure.
got it. But like, if I didn't know who Shazam was, it would have been super confusing from just watching the trailer. And then it was like almost a straight comedy,
Mhm.
which if that's what they're trying to do, that could be great. Like it worked for Ant-Man.
Yeah, I think that's what
So,
they're aiming
well,
for. I definitely agree. The trailer is not descriptive as to what this character is. Like, that's something that, like, when my wife and I were watching the trailer right after it came out, I found myself having to be like, oh, and that's a wizard, and the different traits embody the different letters, and those are the powers that Shazam has. Like, you know, there's a lot of explanation that you have to have with that character.
right. And which I'm sure the movie will undoubtedly spend 45
Oh,
minutes
yes.
on. But like in the trailer, if I wasn't a comics fan, it wouldn't make me want to go see it because it's like, okay, this kid was small and now he's big and he's wearing this red jumpsuit and making jokes.
Weirdly, the thing that like disappointed me about the trailer, weirdly, is that I didn't see any of Talkie Tawny, which is the Tiger Man friend of Shazam. He's just a Tiger Man in a suit. And that guy I really like because it's really goofy and very like bizarre in a fun way. And I didn't see any of that. And I was like, oh, that bums me out a little, but I guess I can forgive
And
it.
if you're gonna go kind of campy and comedy, like you might as well bring something like that.
Absolutely. Why not? It's a Tiger Man. That's like, why would you not take the opportunity to put a Tiger Man in your movie if you have the option?
That's true. He'll probably be in the background, like in the wizard scene.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do like an Easter egg, if not the character himself.
Yeah, that's probably true. All right, so that's Shazam. Go see it in theaters next year.
We'll do a whole nother episode talking about Aquaman because there's a lot in that one.
Yeah. All right, so last category. This is the big one. We're doing horror movies.
Yes.
I picked Saw, and really the whole Saw franchise can be pulled from, but mostly the first movie is what was good. And The Strangers.
And I picked The Abominable Dr. Phibes, which really is a predecessor to Saw in a lot of ways. It's kind of the 70s version that started that whole craze of themed serial killers. And then Suspiria. So.
Okay, so I haven't seen either of them, so I'll be interested to see what comes out of the randomizer.
Yes, you definitely got to see both of them because they're very like you very much stayed on the side of like gritty, more realistic, and I very much went into the kind of like bizarre, colorful realm of horror. Like The Abominable Dr. Phibes is very comic booky, very bizarre. And then Suspiria is also, you know, it's a giallo film from Dario Argento, sorry. So it's very colorful and surreal, like it's incredibly weird. But we'll go to the randomizer and we'll figure out what's what. All right. We've got The Strangers and Suspiria.
All right.
That's a pretty good pairing.
I'm glad it wasn't. If it was Saw and Dr. Phibes, I think there's too much crossover there.
Yes.
I did read the plot summary on Dr. Phibes, and it sounded really cool, and it didn't sound as horrific. So I scare pretty easily. So horror was my toughest genre to pick movies from because I've probably only seen about 7. But Dr. Phibes sounded less scary and more like suspenseful and
yeah. You should check it out. It's pretty crazy. The kills in Dr. Phibes are all themed after the 10 plagues of Egypt from the Bible. Like it's nutty in the best possible way. Dr. Phibes has like a robot sidekick. There's just so much craziness. It's the most 70s movie in all the best ways.
All right, I'll definitely. You gave me some new movies to check out.
Oh yeah,
sure.
and
at the very
everybody
least.
in your audience, all of these movies that we're mentioning, you should watch them. Every last one, because they're all good.
All right, so give us a quick plot summary on Suspiria.
Yes, so Suspiria is about a like a preparatory school for girls that is secretly run by witches. Like the headmistress and the top teachers are a coven of witches. Is the basics, and then because it's a giallo film, it's like very surrealist horror, so it's hard to kind of even get into a description other than just that, but it's all handled very bizarrely. There's a lot of things that are scary and unsettling in ways you don't understand why they're so unsettling, which is something that I really like about Italian horror specifically as a subgenre. But regardless, the main thing is preparatory school, which is running it. And then The Strangers is absolutely wonderful. I like that movie a lot.
The Strangers messed me up for a long time. So that's, if you have in the audience, if you haven't seen The Strangers because you're scared of things like me, it's basically this couple goes to a remote cabin that the guy's family owns, and there's no cell service out there, obviously. And these people, just somebody in a weird mask knocks on the door, and they go to the door and answer it, and nobody's there. And then they just, for the next 90 minutes, continue to terrorize the couple in their home in increasingly bizarre ways, or creepy ways. And at one point they ask, and this was from the trailer, they ask, why are the people terrorizing them? And they just answer, because you're home.
And it's so good. That line justifies the entire existence of that movie. That line is so perfect.
Yeah, and that movie, because my family had a cabin like this out in the middle of nowhere, and like it was hard to stay there
absolutely. After that. The Strangers is a movie that my wife still refuses to watch, and I cannot blame her.
I don't blame her.
It is intense. It is invasive and makes you paranoid in a really interesting way. It's great.
If you hear a sound in your house during it, you're just like, oh my god, I'm gonna be attacked for the next hour and a half. Alright, so we mix that with a school run by witches, a boarding school run by witches.
Yeah, so I think what we're probably gonna have to do is take the idea of witches and put them into some kind of a home invasion scenario. Because the alternative would be a school run by, like, random spree killers. And I feel like that movie would last all of 20 minutes. Like, it'd be hard to maintain that for 90 minutes, you know?
Yeah, or kind of what you could do would be, you have, basically the school is being attacked by these random attackers.
Sure.
And it, in the end, it turns out that they're the ones running the school. Like, that's the twist.
Oh, that's cool.
They always know where the girls are because they're running the school and able to randomly attack them. But I think I like your idea better of you put the witches in the home invasion scenario.
Yeah, because I like the idea of taking that, like, kind of a culty scariness, like taking different kind of scariness and putting it into the home invasion scariness, you know?
Well, and the witches could have they could have these ways to fight back that, you know, regular people don't have.
Sure.
And, you know, they could come up short, or they could terrorize the strangers in reverse. You know, you can kind of have it going both ways.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, you could have it be like a peaceful coven of, like, white witches or whatever you want to call it that is being attacked by by the strangers who are, for some reason, you know, whether they're, like, religious extremists or whatever, hate the idea that these witches are here in this town. Like, I like that a lot, of taking it to be an ideological difference that is driving this whole thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. And they fight the witches. So that's your kicker is the witches, because they're good witches, for lack of a better term. They don't want to fight back. They know they have this power to fight back. But they keep kind of getting picked off one by one because they refuse to fight back because they're not supposed to use their powers to harm anyone.
Sure.
And then it'll come down kind of to a last stand of, does this witch use her powers, or do the invaders win?
Sure, and you could have it be that there's, like, competing forces within the coven of being like, no, we have to embrace dark magic that'll give us more powers to defend ourselves against these people. So you could have a kind of slow slide into them, like, betraying what they believe in, and the like, white magic for dark magic for the sake of defending themselves from these attackers.
Right.
That's super cool.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, now we need a name.
Oh boy. I get so excited when we get the premise done, and then as soon as I remember we have to do the titles, I'm like, oh.
Just like that gut punch automatically. Oh, crap. All right, what do we got?
What are some good witchcraft words we could use? I bet there's one of those that implies like isolation or implies an invasion. There's got to be a word that relates those two worlds of like witchcraft and invasion or isolation.
Yeah, let's see what we got. See if vocabulary.com has anything for me.
Of course they will. Sponsor us, vocabulary.com.
Use vocabulary.com for all your synonym
all your
needs.
titling for a very specific show needs.
Let's see. Sorcery. Could you do something with that?
I feel like we might need to take it more of a like witchcraft. Like we need to take it to a more like, I don't know how to describe it, but less like professional magic and more to a personal magic place than sorcerer.
Right.
If you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand what you're getting at.
Either way, it's going to be very tough.
Vocabulary.com hasn't given me that helpful...
That's their one failing. They don't have a lot of witchcraft words. They're very religious at vocabulary.com. What are some like siege words? Like what are some other like home invasion words that we could relate to the world of witchcraft? Maybe let's attack it from that angle.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. Come on, Google, you haven't let me down yet.
It's trying.
Alright, let's see. Assault? A little too rough, I think, for what we're going for.
Yeah, I feel like we might need to, like, if we're gonna do assault, we'll have to say, like, assault on something, like assault on Precinct 13, but assault on whatever coven, you know?
Yeah.
We could just call it something like assault on White Coven or something like that, you know? Because that has has the right vibe to it.
Yeah, because you want to look at it from, you think the invaders are going to come out on top, and that would be a way to do that. And then it's kind of the twist that the witch in the end decides that she's going to use dark magic to succeed.
Sure, and then because then assault is also like a double meaning where it's an assault from outside and an assault from inside of these white witches turning to dark magic to defend themselves, you know?
Right.
I like that. I'm happy with assault on White Coven.
I'm good. Yeah.
Cool.
I think that's as good as we're gonna get.
Definitely, without taking another like 25 minutes, I think we're good.
And 25 minutes of mostly just blank air of us going,
a lot of us,
maybe this will work.
Just being like,
This word, no, I don't think that word's good. Alright, so we've got the assault on the White Coven, or assault on White Coven. You know, you guys be creative out there and maybe send us some names. If you have a better name for any of these movies we came up with, hit us on Twitter or email us. And maybe you're better at thinking of names or just have more time to do it than we did.
That's the thing. Titles are one of those things that you need to like let percolate in your brain for a while. It's whenever I get done with an episode of X Meets Y, like the day after sometime, I'll be like, oh, that would have been a perfect title.
Then you just go in and edit over yourself and it sounds completely off.
I keep it all on the up and up.
All right, so those are 5 movies that you guys will see coming in the summer of 2022.
Oh yes, we're gonna take these to Universal like tomorrow. It's gonna be great. They're totally gonna happen.
Yeah, sounds good to me. All right, well, thank you for joining me again. Check out X Meets Y on all podcasting platforms. You have Twitter, Facebook, anything like that you want to plug?
Well, so our Facebook page is linked to in most of our episode descriptions, but if you just go to xmeetsy.libsyn.com. You can stream it all just through a Chrome or whatever you use. Or you can just find it through iTunes, stuff like that. And if you do find it, if you do like it, if you listen, please like our Facebook page, leave us a review on iTunes. Like every little bit of engagement really helps us to constantly improve the product that we're putting out.
Yes, it does. I love, getting the listener engagement. Again, follow me on Twitter at APA something, and I'm most approachable there. I also have email, a podcast about something at gmail.com, or you can go to the website and contact me through there. That's a podcast about something.com. So yeah, engagement's big. rate and review on iTunes. That's always helpful because then I can see how much everyone hates me and what I need to do better.
No, people are very nice. If they're going to take the time to put a rating in or a review, it's always going to be it's either going to be a 1-star or a 5-star is generally how that's going to go. Like,
yeah, nobody takes the time to put 3 stars.
Yeah, nobody's like, this was fine.
They just move on with their life. Maybe I'll listen to more, but I don't really know. All right, well, that was a lot of fun. Again, thanks for coming on. Check out X Meets Y, and always check back with a podcast about something. We'll have weekly episodes coming at you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, man. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And now it's time for 2 Good Places. A podcast about something has officially launched our Patreon. So go to patreon.com/a podcast about something, all one word, and check it out. And while you're there, feel free to donate. We set it up into 5 different tiers. The first tier is, we call it the patron tier. And for that, basically, it's $1. You get a shout out in an episode of a podcast about something. It'll just be, once you donate the next episode, we'll give you a shout out, say thank you for donating. The next tier number 2, is called the Nothings, and don't worry, you're not actually nothing for being part of this tier, and it doesn't cost nothing to be in this tier. This is the $5 tier, and basically the way I named the tiers was just a play on, because we're a podcast about something, nothing, anything and everything, but nothing seemed less than something, so nothing went first, then something. So anyway, the Nothings tier, it's $5 for that tier. You get a shout out and a thank you in an episode, and then we will have merchandise available for anyone subscribing to that tier. We're going to have stickers and bookmarks, and for being part of this tier, you can choose one or the other, whether you want a sticker or a bookmark, and I will send it to you, and I might even write you a little note or draw you a picture. Just a quick note, I am not a good artist, so if I draw you a picture, don't expect a Rembrandt or anything like that. Tier number 3 is the Somethings, and that is a $7 tier, and again, that's another merchandise tier. You first get the shout out and the thank you in the episode. You still get your choice between a sticker and a bookmark, but you also get a magnet or a pen in the $7 tier. So for $2 more, you get 1 extra piece of merch, and you probably really love the show if you're going for that tier over the $5 tier. But I'll take whatever I can get, so please just give me money. And then tier 4 is the Anythings. This is a $10 tier, and with this tier, you get everything in the lower tiers. You get a shout out and a thank you. You get a sticker or a bookmark, and you get a magnet or a pen. But with this one, we will be producing exclusive content for the $10 and up Patreon subscribers. So basically what we'll have here is we'll have extra content like gag reels or, extended conversations with the guests. Another thing that I'm going to put on here are polls to help decide topics or to figure other things out, basically. So you get to contribute a lot more to the show in the $10 tier. And then the last tier is the Everythings, which if you're giving $20 an episode or a month, then you must really, really love the show, and I appreciate you. So you get everything. You get a shout out and a thank you. You get a sticker and a bookmark. You get a magnet and a pen. You get access to the exclusive content from the Anythings tier. And you get a guest appearance on the show, and we discuss the topic of your choice. You get to pick a topic, a course that has to go through my approval. We're not going to, talk about white supremacy or anything, too dramatic. But if you want to pick a topic and run it by me, we'll talk about it. We'll figure out, what the best way to approach that topic is. You're going to be completely involved in the planning of the episode, and then you get to do a guest appearance. So those are our 5 tiers for Patreon. Please, again, go to patreon.com and search a podcast about something, or patreon.com/a podcast about something, and donate while you're there. The donations will go to reimbursing the initial investment I've already put into the podcast. It will go to upgrading equipment and, hosting costs. It does cost money to run a podcast. Not a lot, but there is some money involved. So, whatever I can recoup from, the money I've put in and the money I continuously put in for monthly hosting costs and website fees, all that stuff, this will all be very helpful. So I appreciate it. Go check it out. Make sure while you're there you donate, and we will you'll maybe get some sweet merch or at least a shout out in an episode. So thank you for listening. Make sure to rate and review and subscribe on iTunes. That always helps us climb to the top of those rankings on iTunes if you rate and review. You can check us out on Twitter at APA something. And you can always email me at apodcastaboutSomething@gmail.com, and we can, give feedback on the show that way. I'm always open to feedback, so give me whatever you got. A podcast about football by the time this is out. Podcast about football will be very close to starting, so stay tuned for that. We should have already had a couple previews, AFC, NFC, college football previews out. And, then we're going to be doing the weekly roundups and can't miss picks. So make sure you check that out if you're a football fan. And as always, the music on A Podcast About Something is provided by Those Cats. Make sure you check them out. They are great. Stay classy.